Hey guys, new project. I'm super excited about this. Another collaboration. This one is really kind of out of the realm of what we've done in the past. But there's a guy, you know, Ryan and I are kind of MMA fans, UFC fans, and there's a guy that I've been watching for a while that I really kind of admire. He's a little rough around the edges, kind of raw, which is right up my alley. His language is probably not the best, but anyway, this guy, his name's Jesse, and when I started watching him, he doesn't have a huge channel. It's a little bigger than our channel. Normally I reach out for collaborations for bigger channels than that, but I think this guy is going to have, number one, going to have a huge channel. I really like him. He's just very, very entertaining. His name's Jesse, and when I saw his logo, it's like, oh man, that would look really good carved. So it's Jesse on Fire. And he just seems like a really cool dude. I reached out to him and told him I'd love to make a sign built around his logo. And he said, yeah, absolutely, he'd love to have one. So Ryan and I are going to carve this thing. And it's, you know, we've been talking about how we're going to do it and all that. You guys are going to watch the whole process. So when I was in California about a month ago, I picked up this round, and out here in Arizona, I've never seen any of these, but this is Teak, and I picked it up. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but now I know. So we've done the layout on this thing, and I don't know how it's going to show up on the camera.
Turn it up just a touch down.
The Teak is really dark, and we did the inkjet transfer with the rapid resizer, and I think I might have to draw in a few of the lines to get all of the details. But anyway, that is the project for today. We're going to carve this thing, and we actually have something else that we're going to add to it, another element that we really haven't done before, but I think it's going to look really cool when we get it all done. I don't know how many videos it's going to take, but we're going to get started. We're going to take this thing outside and start routing right now. So hang on, and we'll be right with you. All right, let's get to carving this thing. It is chilly today, as it has been lately, so that's why I'm all bundled up. But I've got my layout right next to what I'm doing here, and I want to get the tight areas, the really close areas, I want to get them done first. I've got the carving liner bit in, and I'm set at about a 1/16, something like that. I may have to adjust that as we go. Teak, I've never really spent much time carving teak. I think I've carved it once or twice in the past, so I'm kind of curious to see how this works out. Here we go. The dogs are fired up about something. So this is now I know why I haven't carved a lot of teak, because it wouldn't be my favorite.
Look up, Dad.
Oh, so this is really, really hard stuff. Any of you that have carved it probably know that. So I've done all the detail that I absolutely have to do with the carving liner. So now I'm going to put the profile bit. When we come back, I'll finish this up with the profile bit, which again, if you guys have been following for a while, if you can possibly use a profile bit, do it, especially if you're in a super hard wood like this. So I'm going to put the profile bit in and we'll get some more of this detail done. All right, so we got the Milwaukee, we got the profile bit in. I am set at about 3/16 deep. I think that's going to be about right, but I might have to back it off a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to try and get the rest of this detail done on the facial features and kind of work my way down. Here we go. All right, guys. Well, this profile bit's cutting much better than the carving liner. Profile bit, and this is pretty much a new profile bit. It's just flying through this teak a lot better than the carving liner. So I've got to actually, a couple of these lines down through here are not quite dark enough. I'm going to make my pen and I'm going to darken in some of these lines to make sure there's no second guessing where these lines are. I'm going to do that off camera, and then when we come back, we'll get back on this thing. Okay, guys, so what was happening here, because of this really super dark grain in here, it was really kind of confusing me where the lines were going to be. So the dark pen didn't work real well. We pulled out the pencil, and that seems to give me a little bit better line. But you can see in here, I want to try and emulate these big fat lines, because this is all going to be inset, obviously, and I've been cutting these fat lines. So I'm going to come down and actually cut both sides of this, because that fat line is really kind of what makes it looks good. I don't always do that if this was going to be inset, then I would just cut a single line and this would be background cut away, but there really is no background here. So I want to cut both those sides of that line, both the inside of this line, and make that fat all the way around. I hope that makes sense. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up this detail offline, off camera. Then when we come back, we'll do those letters. Be right back. All right, guys, so I got all the details done pretty much. Now I'm going to carve this circle. It's going to be a circle all the way around. And being as that it is only about 1.25 inches in from the edge, I'm going to do the trick that I've done many times when I'm trying to hold an edge, hold a line that is the same shape as the size of the board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my fingers riding on the edge of the board, not stuck in the bit. Don't do that. Don't tell anybody that I told you to do that, because I didn't tell you to do that. Do not stick your fingers in that hole. It's a bad thing. Even when the router's off, it's a bad thing. Anyway, so I'm going to start my my router. I'm going to drop it down, and then I'm going to have my. I wasn't sure I was. So I'm going to have this riding on that ridge on the edge of the board as my router bit hopefully is cutting that circle closely. Here we go. All right, folks. Yeah, this this teak is tough stuff. So you can see where I was a little tough to hold a line when I'm cutting with the grain. Once I get down to the cross grain in this area, not so bad, not so tough. But when you're with the grain going this way, that's where that that bit wants to grab. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, fortunately, this isn't what I call single, fortunately this isn't what I call single line outset. I'm going to take the 90 degree and cut a big fat groove all the way around the outside of the circle. So now I'm going to go back by hand and I'm going to try and even up that circle, kind of trim it up, get rid of those wavy lines, and then when we come back, we'll jump on that fat line around there with the 90, and that should make it nice and uniform, and then we'll move on to the inset letters. All right, now we are going to use the 90 degree V groove. I got it set at a full 1/4 inch, and we're going to cut a fat line. I went ahead and kind of trimmed up that circle on the inside, tried to get it as smooth as I could. It's about as good as I'm going to do for what I've got. And now I'm going to just cut a fat line all the way around there. Here we go. Okay, guys, there is a fat line around the outside. I think that will really help that that circle show up. I think it'll really kind of make the whole thing pop. So we're going to come back, and I'm going to put the profile bit back in and get these inset letters done. Then we can move on. Okay, all we got left is the lettering. Inset letters, I got the profile bit set at about 1/8 of an inch, something like that. Let's get these letters done. Here we go. I'm going to sharpen this cutter because and I started with a fairly sharp bit, and then I've sharpened it once, and now I'm going to sharpen it again. I'm just feeling like I could hold a little bit better line if that bit was sharp, so I'm going to sharpen it again. This Teak, and I've heard this about Teak, that it's really tough on router bits, even saw blades and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to sharpen this router bit again, and then I'm going to finish the rest of these up off camera, and when we come back, yeah, now we're going to start seeing this thing come together. So we'll be right back. All right. So it's time to sand this thing off. We got it all sprayed. We masked off the edge because we don't want any black on the edge because of, well, there's a couple different reasons. You guys will find that out here in a little bit. But we got all the carving done. Super excited to see what this thing looks like when it's sanded off. So let's get after it. So I've got the disc sander with a 60 on there. This is really hard wood, so that's definitely what I want to use. And then we've got a 120 on the random orbital. Here we go. boys and girls, let's take a look. Let's see what it looks like. I'm fired up to see it.
Lift it up a little more. There's.
Is that too much glare? I can lift it straight up.
Quite a bit. Yeah, there we go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Man, that thing looks freaking awesome.
Does it look good?
That
yeah.
looks super cool. Look at the face.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
That BCM actually.
Wow, that was really tough, but it came out. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to set up and we're going to put a finish on it. So we'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I'm just going to put the clear on it. Again, I'm just going to put a bunch of this stuff on it. This is not the end of the sign. We've got a whole nother element that we're going to be adding to this that you guys are going to see started on the next scene.
It was like plastic or something. I saw it shiny.
Oh, really? Yeah, okay. All right, here we go. Oh, man, look at that grain just come alive.
That white streak right through his face.
That's just cool.
Freaking perfect.
Man, look at that thing come alive. I freaking love it.
I hope this comes through on camera the way it looks live. Because that thing just looks freaking so cool, man.
Yeah, I dig it.
Oh
I dig it.
God.
All right, so next step is we are going to come back again. We're going to add something else, a separate piece to this that that Ryan and I have been talking about for about 2 weeks. And we think it's going to come out pretty cool, but if it was just what it is, I think Jesse's going to be super happy with it. But I think this next element is going to be something that we've never done that I think is going to be pretty cool. So stick with us, you'll see. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this video. We've just got this new element that we want to do on here, and you guys will see that on the next video. But we're loving the way this thing came out so far. I want to put a bunch more finish on it, probably another 5 or 6 or 14 coats, because I really want a spectacular gloss finish on it. But super happy with it so far. Hope Jesse likes it. Jesse, if you see this, thanks again so much for the opportunity. We love what you're doing, and I hope you like what we do. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. On the next video, we'll get into this next element that we want to do. If you guys have any questions, email me directly, eric@makeawoodsign.com. If you have questions for Ryan, Ryan with DaveSigns@gmail.com.
There it is.
And, you know, as always, the supplies are there. We love you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.